All right, welcome. It's 5 o'clock on Monday, November 18th, 2024. This is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape Girardeau. Thank you all for being here. We will begin tonight with our invocation and follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation tonight is from Pastor Deb Tracy of Christ Evangelical Church and former City Council member, I will add. If you all would please join us, rise. Thank you.
I am substituting tonight for Reverend Allen, who had a pastoral emergency, so stepping in. Thank you. Please pray with me. Creator and sovereign Lord, we come to you tonight with grateful hearts. We thank and praise you for the many blessings we share as a people and as a community that is rich in faith and in heritage. We honor you as our God, from whom all blessings flow. Each one of us needs your assistance through the counsel and guidance of your most Holy Spirit, to be ever mindful of the joy of service for which each one of us has been called and elected. May your spirit of encouragement and cooperation prevail over the spirits and voices which would seek to divide and disrupt the efforts to accomplish the good work you have set before the council, the city, our county, our state, and our nation. May the meditations of our hearts and minds be enlightened for the upbuilding of the people and places established and committed to work for the common good and welfare of all of our people. May you grant security, peace, and prosperity within our boundaries of responsibility, granting us the wisdom and the courage to fulfill our duties with diligence and perseverance and faithfulness according to your will for us in this time and in this place. In the name of Jesus, with trust in his faithfulness to intercede for us all, I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. We have no study session or presentations tonight. Council, any communications or reports?
Yes, I would just like to give some kudos to JoJo and the airport staff and all those that have been involved in promoting the airport. In October, there were 815 employments, which was above it was 101.9% of the monthly goal. And in September, there were 716, and that was 13.8% change in monthly employment. So what I've heard from everybody is that the change over to Chicago has been a real success. And they're seeing a lot of people going there. So I just applaud everything you all are doing.
Great. Okay. Dan?
It was another beautiful weekend to be here in the city of Cape Girardeau. The weather held out for everybody in this late fall, and so we had football games and everything else going on in this town, and so just a great opportunity for all of us to reflect on the community that we live in and see all the wonderful things about our community that we all know and love. So hopefully everybody got to be out and about and enjoy this. It was a very pleasant, classic fall weekend in Cape. So hopefully everyone enjoyed that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any reports? No? All right, we'll move on to discussion items. First, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to appear as an advisory board applicant? If so, yes, come on forward and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Arlo Ely. I'm a resident of Ward 5 and am seeking an appointment to the Show Me Center Board of Managers, which I'm currently serving, so it would be a reappointment. I've been able to meet with some of you, send some emails around and things like that, so I need not speak long, but I'm just looking forward to continuing the work that we're doing on that board and serving as an ambassador for the Show Me Center as well as the City of Cape in the business that the Show Me Center undertakes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to appear? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the Planning and Zoning Commission report. Mr. Blank.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Planning and zoning met November the 13th, last week. We had 3 items up. First of these was at 360 South Mount Auburn Road, a dumpster screening exemption. This was recommended for approval, 9 in favor, 0 in opposition. Second of these was 824 Broadway. This is the Esquire Theater redevelopment project. Exception to exceed the maximum square footage of video sign area by 21 square feet. That recommendation was for approval with the condition that the maximum area of the freestanding sign on the property be reduced from 66 square feet to 45 square feet. And that was voted 9 in favor, 0 in opposition as well. And our third item was Mid-America Crossings 4th subdivision record plat. This property is on the backside of the Cape County Park property in between Veterans Memorial and the backside of Cape County Park. The plat subdivides a lot to create 2 new lots at 2502 Veterans Memorial Drive. This was recommended for approval, 8 in favor, 1 in opposition. Any questions? All right.
Thanks so
Happy
much.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have the consent agenda review. Dr. Haskin.
Council, we added one item for your review tonight, and that was the final item, which was number 13. And it's basically a request to execute an L&I agreement with Lone Star to install 4 solar panel beacon warning signs along South Sprague Street. Mayor, that concludes the review.
All right. Thank you. We'll now move into regular session and begin with the call to order and the roll call vote. Ms. Conrad.
Mr. Bliss,
Here.
Mr. Cantrell,
Here.
Mr. Essex,
Here.
Mayor Kinder,
Here.
Mr. Presson,
Here.
Miss Randle, Mr. Thomas.
Here.
All right, thank you. Council, we have an agenda before us. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor then of the agenda as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The agenda carries. We have 2 public hearings tonight. First, I'll open the public hearing to consider a proposed amendment to Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cape Girardeau, Missouri regarding height and area exceptions and modifications. Is there anyone wishing to appear for this public hearing? No? All right, I'll close that public hearing then. And then secondly, we have a public hearing. I'll open that to consider a request to vacate the city's interest of a sanitary sewer easement at 1619 Whitener Street. Anyone wishing to appear for that public hearing? Nope, seeing none then, I will close that public hearing. Thank you. We next have the consent agenda. Mr. Young, would you please read that?
Bill 24-113, an ordinance granting a special use permit to Derek and Carla Cornelius for purposes of constructing, maintaining, and operating a billboard at 3849 Business Park Place in the city and county of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-113, an ordinance granting a special use permit to Derek and Carla Cornelius for purposes of constructing, maintaining, and operating a billboard at 3849 Business Park Place in the city and county of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-114, an ordinance approving the record plat of Niesel Shed subdivision. Bill 24-114, an ordinance approving the record plat of Niesel Shed subdivision. Bill 24-115, an ordinance improving the record plat of Lutheran Home Southwest subdivision. Bill 24-115, an ordinance approving the record plat of Lutheran Home Southwest subdivision. Bill 24-116, an ordinance annexing land located at 3082 County Road 620 into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-116, an ordinance annexing land located at 3082 County Road 620 into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-117, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property located at 3082 County Road 620 as M1 Light Manufacturing Industrial District. Bill 24-117, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property located at 3082 County Road 620 as M1 Light Manufacturing Industrial District. Bill 24-118, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 4 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-118, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 4 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-119, an ordinance annexing land located at 3268 Perryville Road into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-119, an ordinance annexing land located at 3268 Perryville Road into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-120, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property located at 3268 Perryville Road as R1 Single Family Suburban Residential District. Bill 24-120, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property located at 3268 Perryville Road as R1 Single Family Suburban Residential District. Bill 24-121, an ordinance extending boundaries of Ward 4 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-121, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 4 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24-122, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a license and indemnity agreement with Lone Star Industries, Inc. to place certain improvements along South Spring Street in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
All right, thank you, Mr. Young. Council, we have the consent agenda there before us. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bliss, Mr. Presson, any discussion?
Anytime we can annex and bring new property into the community, that's always great. And so I know it's a lot for Greg to read everything over and over again, but we welcome the folks out on Perryville Road and out on 620 to the city of Cape.
Indeed. Anyone else? All right, hearing none then, all in favor of the consent agenda as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That agenda carries. Nothing was removed from the consent agenda tonight. We have numerous new ordinances for tonight, and as always, the staff will present the ordinance. At that point, anyone in the audience who wishes to make a comment may do so, and then the council will take it up. So first, we have Bill number 24-123, an ordinance amending Schedule C of Section 26-132 of the City Code by establishing stop signs at various intersections in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is the first reading. Mr. Pulley.
Thank you, Mayor, Dr. Haskin, Council. This ordinance establishes 7 new locations where stop signs need to be installed at new subdivisions or other subdivisions where signs are missing.
All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment? All right, seeing none, then council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-123?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none then, all in favor of Bill 24-123, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 24-124, an ordinance amending Schedule K of Section 26-132 of the City Code by establishing yield signs at various intersections in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is the first reading. Mr. Pulley?
3 new yield signs have been installed on Kingsway on the new improvements of that street. So there were 3 new signs installed that need to be brought into the Schedule C.
All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment? Okay. Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-124?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
No, I'd just like to say kudos to the city for putting those signs in. Back when I was on council in 2018, I got calls about Kingsway and getting some yield signs, so I'm glad we were able to do that finally.
Look at the progress.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comment? All right, all in favor then of Bill 24-124, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 24-125, an ordinance accepting a permanent water line easement from the County of Cape Girardeau for property located at 3555 Veterans Memorial Drive in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is the first reading. Mr. Pulley?
Thank you. This ordinance accepts the permanent water line easement from the Cape Girardeau County for the new water infrastructure at their new Emergency Operations Center at 355 Veterans Memorial Drive.
All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment? Seeing none, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-125?
So moved.
Any comment? All right, hearing none then, all in favor of Bill 24-125, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Next is Bill 24-126, an ordinance vacating the city's interest in a sanitary sewer easement on property located at 1619 Whitener Street in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is the first reading. Ms. Brunke.
Good evening. The ordinance before you vacates the city's interest in a sanitary sewer easement at 1619 Whitener Street. If you recall, last month in October, we accepted some new easements for a sanitary sewer line that we found that was under a corner of a home. We relocated that sanitary sewer easement, or excuse me, we relocated that sanitary sewer line, got new easements, so this is vacating the old easement for that line.
All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment? Seeing none then, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-126?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor then of Bill 24-126, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Next is Bill 24-127, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cape Girardeau, Missouri regarding height and area exceptions and modifications. This is the first reading. Mr. Shrimpley.
Good evening. This amendment makes several changes to that particular section of the city code. The most substantive of those is a provision related to accessory structures. We've got two categories of accessory structures, those that are 150 square feet or less, like your typical shed. That's called a minor accessory structure. Those can be placed anywhere on a lot. If it's greater than 150 square feet, the code says they have to meet the setbacks of the zoning district for the property. When it comes to rear yard setbacks in residential properties, somebody wants to build a detached garage or a shop building, typically the rear yard setback is 25 feet. So we've got some large residential properties. We have several very small residential properties, and that's where we've been seeing a lot of challenges for some of those property owners when they want to build an accessory structure. They have to be 25 feet from that rear lot line. Sometimes that puts the structure right up against the house. They've had to apply for variances and things like that. So again, as part of our ongoing review of the codes to see if we can fix things, we're proposing amending the code, this particular section, to provide an exception that allows accessory structures to be up to 10 feet from the rear lot line, which I think is a lot more reasonable.
All right. Thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this issue? Okay, seeing none. Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-127?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none. All in favor then of Bill 24-127, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 24-128, an ordinance approving the record plat of Athena Properties subdivision. This is the first reading. Mr. Shrimpley.
This record plat just takes two residential properties and combines them into one. They want to build a structure that'd be kind of where the lot line between the two is, so they want to get rid of that lot line.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to make a comment? No? All right, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-128?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor then of Bill 24-128, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 24-129, an ordinance approving the record plat of McMillan's First Subdivision. This is the first reading. Mr. Shrimpley.
This involves two existing single-family residential lots, but they're wanting to move the lot line. One of the property owners wanted to acquire a strip of land from the neighbor, and so this just takes the two lots and replats them with the new lot line in the proposed location.
Okay, thank you. And anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this? No? Okay, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-129?
So moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor then of Bill 24-129, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. And lastly, Bill 24-130, an ordinance appropriating monies from the general fund for expenditures for the police department for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. This is the first reading. Ms. Mills.
Good evening.
So this evening, we have an ordinance that approves the appropriation for some additional budget spend for this fiscal year. We're appropriating a total of $571,477. It's from the general fund, and it's going to support some needed capital and operating expenditures for the police department. There's several things included. We had 2 police canines that were retired this year, so we're replacing both of those. We also have added another canine. This one is to be solely used as a gun detection dog, and the canine is trained and certified in the location of the detection of firearms. That's also in this appropriation. The total expenditure required for those 3 is $45,000. The Cape Girardeau PD, in addition to that, is in need of replacing their body cameras. So we're buying 64 new body cameras. These are a bit better in that they have more memory in them. Total cost of those is $173,737. We know that the body cameras are it's a needed upgrade for those, and they'll be great for replacing all the existing equipment that was purchased in 2022 that we've just outgrown and has is exceeded its useful life. In addition, the last thing we're adding here is we're replacing existing patrol unit tablets. These are used in the patrol vehicles. These were originally purchased in 2019. We've decided to go this year with some actual laptops, which I think we think will get better use and will last longer for the officers. There's 64 of them total, and it'll help them make better decisions and respond faster to situations because they get better, quicker access to information as they do their work. So the cost of that capital expenditure is $352,740. All total, $571,477.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this issue? Yes. If you would, please state your name and address for you.
Sure. My name is Jeanette Wilfong. I live at 520 Broadway. And I think that we do need things like these tablets to help our officers respond to a lot of problems that we've been having. And I want to speak about how the City Council prioritizes funding for public safety. And I think that we have inadequate officers for the traffic division. My understanding is that there are only 2 for the entire city. 80 man hours, I think, for, our entire community. And on November 1st, a woman in my neighborhood, Marguerite Diaz, was struck by a vehicle while walking on the 700 block of Bellevue and died as a result. And I want to make sure that she isn't forgotten and to express my concern about the safety of myself and my neighbors that walk and cycle in the area every day. I've been walking to work for the past 7 years, and even along one of the safest parts of Broadway, with sidewalks and crosswalks, it can be very dangerous as a pedestrian. Drivers do not stop for us, even at the crosswalks. I've become aware that many accidents are not even reported. It's even in just the time between the last city council meeting and now, I know a cyclist was struck by a truck on Broadway and it wasn't reported. In speaking on the topic with friends and neighbors, I believe that many pedestrians, cyclists, skateboarders, and scooter drivers might not report these accidents because they might not have a means to do so, or they might be afraid of reactionary measures that ultimately end up penalizing them. I ask that our state government revisit the conversation of pedestrian safety. I also ask that when considering changes in general, that you keep in mind who you might be forgetting. Beyond property or business owners, please think of people. I understand that you are trying to find creative solutions in modern times for spaces that were not made for horse and carriage, but please do not forget those of us who are traversing across our city streets and alleyways without horsepower. Without horsepower. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilfong. Anyone else in the audience wishing to comment?
My name name is Kelly Downs. The author James Baldwin said, "If I love you, I have to make you conscious of the things that you don't see." It is my hope that what I'm about to say is less about procedural negligence and instead is simply optimistic oversight meant to promote local business and not the bottom line of developers. I support the Keene family and believe that they are victims of a bad plan. But I also speak in memory of another victim, Margaret.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Downs. So this discussion is on Bill 24-130.
Is this, I'm here with Ms. Wilthong
Well,
about the
and Ms.
pedestrian.
Wilfong started out talking about 24-130 and then veered into pedestrian safety. There is a point in our meetings where if you wish to talk about something off the
I
agenda.
can come back. I can come back.
If you would, call and register. If anyone wants to speak to something that's not on the agenda, you can call the City Hall, the administration office, register yourself and speak at the appropriate time. And so for the next meeting, if you would do that.
Yes.
That would be, okay, thank you, thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak on Bill 24-130? No, okay, hearing none then. Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-130?
So moved.
Second.
Second, any further discussion, council?
I have a question. Just more so, and this might be for Mr. Glick, but what's the life cycle of these body cameras and the laptops? Sounds like we got 5 years out of the tablets.
Tablets were about 5 years. We were hoping to get at least another year out, but we've started having them break down, so we've had to replace them. The body cameras are about on a 2-year cycle.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I would just add to that, Mayor. You know, this is, again, just another step in a series of steps that the city's moved forward with over the past 2 to 3 years in our historic investments in public safety. You know, I know we talk a lot about salaries, which are critical, but now I think most of us can now recognize just how important the protective equipment is, the advanced technology, and the amount of revenue that it takes to ensure that we keep the community safe. Again, this $500,000, almost $600,000 worth of spend. This is actually small compared to what we actually end up spending on an annual basis. So I think you're going to probably see more of this in the coming weeks, months, and years of these investments, and so that we can alert and make sure that the community is aware of the technology that we have and the amount of revenue that it takes to operate the police department. And I know Chief Glick can echo this, because I know we talk quite often about these types of investments, and we're going to continue to make these investments. And I know we appreciate the mayor and the council over the years for their support in investing in the new age technology that we have. And I know oftentimes we're remiss as a staff, and certainly I know we have been in the past as a department, in recognizing the fact that council has been embracing these types of investments and without any fanfare have been supporting us along the way. So we want to certainly appreciate you, Mayor, and the council for your support over the past 2 to 3 years that I can recognize regarding these historic investments that we've made.
I just have one quick question regarding the computers. I understand the necessity of that. And do you all take into consideration what the state does across the board as far as what they buy? Can you get a better deal if we buy the same computers? Are the updates, is it a cloud-based updates and the security of them? Because that's a big part of the expenditure of the computers, is the ability to update and maintain security of. So I'm assuming these are in the vehicles instead of the tablets, they're in the vehicles?
Yes, you can transfer the computers from the vehicle to the station. So we do have docking stations set up in the station too, but they are designed to be used inside the vehicle. We do look at other options, and we try to find the most cost-effective option that still can do what we require to do in the cars. We run a variety of different programs on them. We have the different ShotSpotter capabilities on them, the flock system for the license plate reader technology. They have our whole records management system on the computers too, so the officers can do the reports from inside their car, and they can look up people and information and addresses. For our dispatch, for our CAD unit, our computer-aided dispatch, it will actually route the location that the officer needs to go to on the computer so he can see the location and then he can be routed to that location. This is all technology we didn't have back when I first started. When I started, we didn't have in-car computers, so if there was a street address we weren't familiar with, we would have to get directions from our dispatch center, or we actually had an old book of paper maps that we would have to get out and try to find the street on the map. So yeah, with that technology, we are able to get to locations faster, but it does cost.
Yeah, and I agree. A computer is so much more efficient and faster. The body cams, 2 years, that's pretty short, for $170,000. Is it just because of wear and tear, or is there no way we can, is it just the bumping? What is it that goes out in 2 years?
Yeah, so this is one of the cheaper options with the company that we went with, and it's actually the same company that we're getting the laptops with too. Back when we first got the body cams, we looked at different companies, and they were actually even more expensive. So they do get a lot of use and a lot of wear and tear, and so we activate the body cams anytime we're involved in a police-related activity. And so anytime our officers are engaged in that, we have to activate those body cams and then download that information. So we're getting a lot of use out of them. The biggest cost, though, isn't the device itself, it's the storage. And we're paying a lot for the storage. And that across the board is very expensive.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other comments, council? No? Okay. Hearing none then, all in favor of Bill 24-130, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. We have a number of appointments to make tonight. Council has turned in some ballots, and I will give you all the results of those. First, there were 4 spots to select for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Those 4 people selected were Darren Brunderman, Jackson Hill, Mark Moore, and Philip Moore. Council, is there a motion to approve those 4 for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor then of appointing those 4 to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries. Next, we had 1 member to select for the Liquor License Review Board. That person selected is James Newman. Is there a motion to approve James Newman?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor then of James Newman to the Liquor License Review Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. We had 2 members for the Bloomfield Crossing CID. That is Jason Coulter and Brenda Klausner. Is there a motion to approve those 2?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor then of Jason Coulter and Brenda Klausner, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. We had 1 appointment to the River Campus Board of Managers Advisory Board. We had to, per our agreement, reappoint Dr. Kenneth Haskin. Is there a motion to approve Kenny Haskin for that?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. And then we had 1 member to select for the Show Me Center Board of Managers. That person selected is Arlo Ely. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I would just like to say, I'm glad that the Show Me Center Board of Managers is going to start meeting again after, I think, an absence of 2 years when they didn't meet. That's been pointed out by the news media, so I'm hopeful that that has changed, so.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
And indeed it has, yes. Any further discussion? All in favor then of Arlo Ely, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations to everyone who was selected for those advisory board spots. Thank you for your interest and commitment to that work here in our city. We have no other business, and no one signed up to speak on anything off the agenda. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Actually, before we do that, could I make a real quick comment?
yes.
There's something a group that I forgot to congratulate during our communications report section. This past weekend, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints broke ground on their new temple out off of the Veterans Memorial Drive. And it wasn't that long ago on this board that we all got together after the burning of their original structure. And so I just wanted to congratulate that congregation and that group on this, the new home place that they're actually putting footing in and that they're building, because it came out of such a terrible experience with that arson that led to the complete destruction of their previous temple. So just congratulations to that group. That's a huge accomplishment to break ground on that.
Thank you, Dan. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Second, any further discussion? All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for your time tonight.